Well, I'm back home and I'm gonna upload some other videos, but first I'd like to talk about this animated short that I got in the mail today. Toy Story of Terror. Now this is the first Toy Story Blu-ray I've ever owned in my life. Am I probably gonna get the original 3 on Blu-ray? Probably, I'm not too sure. But I like this movie. I liked it. It's only 27 minutes long. So, see, for me, it's like, I don't want to see a fourth Toy Story film. I don't want to see, like, a whole hour and 40-some minute new movie. Okay, Toy Story, it ended perfectly. With that said, there's nothing wrong with something like this. This is appropriate, in my opinion. This works as kind of a thing that would happen after Toy Story 3. And it's not as good as the original, as the first 3 films, due to its runtime. Maybe if it was like, say, I could probably deal with it. If this was 40 minutes or an hour, actually if it was like maybe 40 minutes and gave more time to develop to this villain, then I'd be okay with it. Okay, so how does it start? Well, it starts out with Buzz, Woody, oh, see them all there. Buzz, Woody, Jessie, Trixie, Rex, Mr. Prickle Pants, and Mr. Potato Head, all there, and they're watching a horror movie in the car, going to a hotel. And Mr. Prickle Pants is like the, you know, pretentious kind of guy, and he's like, he's like, oh, this is a horror movie, oh, this is this, and you have a scene with Jessie, a really good scene with Jessie, and I like how this movie developed Jessie more. This thing developed Jessie more as a character. I really liked it. Because it was, legitimately, I was going, oh shit. Because it's like they really dive into the whole panic, the PTSD she went through being in storage for all those years. And it's really Jessie's movie. I mean, if you really think about the trilogy as a whole, the first one is really about Woody. Well, all 3 of them are really about Woody. You know, that's obvious. But in terms of the character development, the first one's really about Woody's development. Second one's about furthering Buzz's character development even more, and Woody's as well. That's why I love this second Toy Story. It's one of my favorite second movie sequels of all time, hands down. Toy Story 3 just develops, you know, the gang as a whole, and it did that so damn well. Now, this movie would be really good because it's actually got a lot of legitimate suspense. If you've grown up with the trilogy like I have and you love the series, it's really gets intense, I think, in terms of like what you do to these characters and the situations you put these characters in. Because you don't see Buzz, Woody, and Jessie really being scared shitless. I mean, you had Jessie being in a prison thing and Woody trying to rescue them and Buzz getting Spanish and Buzz and all that shit, but you never really saw them worried for their lives. And the thing is in the film that Jessie's arc, it's like the panic attack, Buzz comforting her like a boyfriend, Woody comforting Jessie like a sister, you know, it's all that jazz basically that just makes this thing worth it. To see Jessie's character development, because she is the main character in this movie, surprisingly enough. And it's just the atmosphere, even though this is really short, I think for the runtime, the atmosphere was done very, very, very well. And that's all I get, and the score was pretty solid too. But with all the good qualities in this, and as a continuation, not really a direct thing to the trilogy, but kind of a side thing of a little, hey, you want to see what the gang's up to? Here, watch this. You know, like that. It worked. Major problem. The villain. The villain is probably the worst villain in the entire Toy Story franchise. By far the worst. This guy is so one-dimensional. He has no depth. I mean, even Al, as much of a greedy bastard as he was, I mean, the movie was very funny, too. I'll admit, the movie was very funny. I laughed. It was suspenseful. It was kind of Hitchcockian in a way. I know it's a weird way to describe Toy Story, but yeah, best way I can sum it up. It was Hitchcockian at points in terms of like what they had to do. And it's like this, like the villain. It was just like, I mean, he's kind of like a he's a shitty version of Al. He's a clone of Al, basically. And really, after Lotso, man, that's just a fucking letdown. Have another greedy asshole villain again. I mean, look, if Al had just been the villain throughout the trilogy, throughout the second movie wouldn't have been nearly as great as it was without Prospector. So, I would rate this a... really hate to do this. I really hate to do this because it does have a lot of good points too. 8.5 out of 10. It's definitely the weakest in the Toy Story franchise. Well, second weakest, but still good. Check it out. It's worth $13.